vulnerable state of mind. Lace tight, I'm able. I hit the trails early, dawn light on the gravel. Rain, sleet or snow, still breathing out steam. Heartbeat, boom, bap, rhythm straight off the street. I got hit by a car, now I'm better by far. Ping, pop, twang, snap, hear the truth in the bar. I run through forest, field, mountains, and streets. From dirt to the curb where the grind meets the beat. Runnable soul, every scar got a name. Pain turn power, yeah, I flip that flame. Cold air lungs burn, still pushing through. One step, then the next, that's what runners do. I got hit by a car, now I'm better by far. Runnable mindset, yeah, I raised the bar. Rain, sleet, or snow, still carry the heat.
Everyone, it's Ed from Runnable. I hope you're well. Today, I'm going to be doing my 300-mile review of the ASICS MegaBlast. So, along with the Nike Vomero Premium, this has been the shoe that I've used the most. In fact, I was looking at my mileage the other day, and I think between this and the Nike Premium, it's done about half of my miles in the last 4 months or so. So, this has been put through its paces over the last 3 months. So I thought I'd do a review. I know some of you really like the 300-mile reviews because it gives you an idea of the durability and how well the foam is adjusting. Spoiler alert, the durability is really good in this shoe and the foam is almost as good as it was from the day I took it out of the box. In fact, it took a little bit of breaking in this foam, but now it's fully broken in. It's an absolute winner. So stand by for the full 300-mile review of the ASICS MegaBlast. But before that, please watch the run footage. There's some run footage of me running on my way into London, which I thought it's actually on my birthday, so I thought it'd be a good day to pick a shoe that I absolutely love for a special day for me. So that's all for now. I'll see you soon. Love you all. Watch the run footage and then stand by for the full review. Oh, one last thing. I'm going to do a bit of film trivia at the end. I absolutely love films. It's one of my second hobbies after running. So we're going to play a little song. So the lyrics of the song have a clue to the film. As soon as you spot the film, can you put it in the comments, the name of the film? And obviously I'll flag up the person who gets there first. So might do a few of these in my videos just to spice things up a bit. I love films, as you'll find out. And some of these are some of my favorite films.
Runnable till the lights go low. Rain, sleet, or snow.
So I'm on my way, making my way via a cafe called Sunday, which are going to have some birthday pancakes in, from North London, Barnet, or Barnet, as it's normally known, but I like to call it Barnet. From Barnet via the Parklands Walk, which, for those that know it, it's kind of Finsbury Park. Well, it's Highgate to Finsbury Park. I'm going to go by that route, I think, depending on underfoot conditions. And as you can see, underfoot conditions aren't exactly favourable today. We have snow in North London. Only a little covering, but enough to make this ride super interesting. But yes, I will get to Sundays, have birthday pancakes, and then I'll run in probably sort of Camden King's Cross way into the centre, maybe go up to Regent's Park, going that way, and then possibly go to a couple of museums if I have time. Should have time. And then in the evening, in this bumper-filled birthday of mine, my family have booked Marty Supreme at the cinema for me, so I'll be going to see that as well. But this is also a special day because it's the 300-mile birthday of the ASICS MegaBlast. As you know, one of my favourite shoes, came third in this year's shoe of the year, last year's shoe of the year. And maybe I'm predicting the future, and maybe the MegaBlast 2 will also get on the podium this year. But it was an easy choice, really. Such a lovely shoe. The grip is interesting. So it's kept all its grooves, and it's worn really well. But probably better than any other grip I've ever had. Much better than the Superblast did. But still, I wouldn't say it's absolutely the most grippy of outsoles. It's not bad. It's just about coping with this kind of weather. But if it wasn't for the fact I wanted to do a 300-mile review of it, I probably would not have worn it today. Such are these icy, frosty, slippy weather conditions. But anyway, that's for another conversation. Thank you. What I wanted to go through today is just what a wonderful shoe this is. How nice it is just to cruise along a decent rate, without putting huge amount of effort in. You're able to pick up the pace in this shoe, and it's kind of nice, just ticks over, got a nice bounce, nothing ridiculous, but enough to feel like it's giving you a little bit of aid. Foam, this aliphatic TPU, this FF Turbo Squared, really nice foam actually. ASICS rarely get it wrong with their foams. This is just another example of them really doing their homework on what would make a great foam for a max cushion daily trainer, where you want something that's lively but still protective and cushioned. For those that have used it, you'll know it's a little bit on the firmer side, not mega firm, but firm enough. Some like that, some don't. The heavier runners, maybe it's better, this shoe, because you can press that foam a little bit more than someone like I would. I'm about 64, 63, somewhere in between kg. Maybe a little bit more since Christmas, for obvious reasons. But yeah, I think it's a firm favourite for these big, powerful runners who are carrying that extra weight because of the extra muscle, and they're really able to put some power through these midsole and get the really nice energy return you get from this aliphatic TPU. So I can see why some people have voted it their best shoe of the year. For me, didn't quite edge out the Evo SL, which I just prefer the geometry of. I'm someone who likes that kind of more punchy ride. It's got me thinking actually. I was listening to Joanna, and he has this category of bruisers and cruisers, and I'm thinking something like pacers and punchers, or punchy and pacers, and this one is somewhere in between, right? It's got a bit of a punch to it, but you can pace quite nicely in this as well. You can cruise along and pace, get a nice rhythm going. So the punchy shoes, let's take one for instance, like let's say the Wave Rebellion 3 or the Hoka Yellow X1 2.0. They're what I would call punchy shoes, because you put them on and you get almost like that reality when you start picking up pace. It's almost like a punch. That kind of thing, you just kind of go, whoa, what's this about? And they really throw you forward and they're kind of dragging you along, these kind of shoes, whereas you've got something that's a little bit like the Alpha Fly I would describe. It has got a punch, but I also like to cruise in that shoe, just set and cruise. And you know, if you really hammer that shoe, then it has a bit of a punch to it. But I say that's kind of, for me, a bit more of a cruiser, a bit more of a pacer in my analogy. And we have a lot of super shoes out there. I tend to gravitate towards the punchers, probably because I'm a northerner, and I've had my fair share of fights growing up where I've had to deliver a few Sheffield sleeping pills, and maybe had a few delivered on me, but we won't talk about those. And so the word punchy, I guess, is quite apt for a northern guy like me. But generally speaking, I gravitate towards those shoes. So love the Wave Rebellion, love the Prime X. I absolutely love the Hoka CLO X1 and X1 2.0. All the shoes, when you put them on your feet, it throws you forward. Something like the Diodora Gara Carbon, for instance, I like that shoe, but that's very much for me more of a pacer. Just kind of get into the shoe and I just like can pick up pace really easily in the shoe without feeling out of control. Same with the Endorphin Pro 4, I was going to say Elite. Elite is actually for me somewhere in between a puncher and a cruiser and a pacer, because you have that lovely rocker in the Endorphin Elite that does throw you forward, but you can't half set a nice pace and stay with it. But so pacers often make good marathon shoes, but I definitely, in my marathon shoes, I gravitate to the somewhere in between, something that can punch and something that can pace. And Endorphin Elite is a good example of that. I ran the Berlin Marathon in that shoe and it did me proud. Hoka CLO X1 2.0 was my choice for London, and that did me proud. But that's the kind of shoe that you have to be on it, and in that hot weather in London it was quite tough to stay with that shoe. I remember by the end thinking, I want to get this shoe off. Similar feeling at the end of New York with the Puma Fastar Nitro Elite 3, which again is a punchy shoe. You can cruise in it, but for me it's a bit more punchy. I went the full distance, marathon distance, in that in New York, and it served me really well. I got a PB in that race, but my goodness, by the end, just wanted to get it the hell off my feet. It's not one for going slow in that shoe for sure, and especially not after you finish the 26 miles. You just want to get it off your feet. But if the time is what you're after, you're not particularly looking to kind of canter or cruise around the marathon, then often these punchy shoes, they work best for me, because I have no choice really, particularly in the Puma shoe. I have no choice but to go for it. So going back to the MegaBlast, yes, it is a little bit of a punchy daily super trainer, max cushion super trainer, but you can also cruise along in this shoe. Very much, if we were to do a Venn diagram, which seems quite popular with our American reviewers at the moment, they would love a good Venn. It would be that middle section for max cushion daily trainers, where you get a bit of a punch, but you can also do what I'm doing now, which is just pace along, cruise along a nice kind of rhythmical rate, and with every foot strike I get a little bit of a punch forward, which is quite nice. Gives you that energy return. Anyway, that's me for now. I'll catch up with you when I'm nearer London, or when I'm about to have my pancakes. See you later. Right, so I've run all the way from Bonnet to the Parkland Way. Kind of rhymes, right? Bonnet to the Parkland Way. Maybe I should have that in my runnable jingle. What do you reckon, guys? Anyway, yeah, I'm running down the Parkland Way. Actually, I should check. Definitely going the right way. I think there's a signpost coming. I will soon find out. I have a weird feeling I'm going the wrong way here, but anyway. So this is the old disused. Right, so it was the right way, but it looks like the footpath is closed there. Is that just a fallen tree? Let's have a look at this. I can't be on. Just walk round this. What's the fucking point? Let's have a look. See if there's any way around this thing. Yeah. Well, let's see. Probably not meant to be doing this, but there's one obstacle negotiated. Let's see if I can go past the next. So basically, this is a disused railway line that a lot of people use as to go cycling, running, walking, whatever, between Highgate and Finsbury Park. So I'm using it as part of this route just because I want to go off the road, and it's quite a challenging surface. It's got rocks poking out of the floor. You can obviously see all the snow and frost on the ground, and it's not the easiest surface because it's like one of those surfaces where these stones are hard baked into the surface, even so there's no give, right? So they're quite piercing when you land on them. So I remember running in my old pair of Nike Invincibles in this once the foam has started to go, and they were really not very good on this surface because it's such soft material that let's get through here, that the stones were piercing, and they were actually hurting my foot. So yeah, probably not the best choice that day. They were a really old pair, so foam had kind of gone in them. Whereas with this MegaBlast being so firm, I'm getting no real impact from these stones and these rocks. You see all the graffiti that years ago would have been frowned upon, but now people actually cover it, and particularly these kind of places, these kind of urban places like this that are just kind of like little oases between all the houses and streets, to have a bit of colour thrown in. That's not a bad thing, is it? As long as people don't do it on private property, unless you're Banksy, that is, in which case can come and do it on my house any day. I won't charge you or call the police. But yes, anyway, if you're watching this video, Banksy, if you're a bit of a running fanatic and you like Runnable, how about do me a favour and painting me something on the side of my house? You'll know how to get there because you'll be tracking my Strava, no doubt. But anyway, talking absolute drivel now. So it's starting to actually sleet now, which isn't very nice. So as again, yeah, the shoes, yeah, really good. Picking up the pace, just plodding along. Plodding's probably not doing them justice, you know. You can't help but kind of get quick turnover in these, and it's kind of counterintuitive given how big they are. You look at them, they look like real bulky beasts of shoes, but actually so lightweight they don't feel that big when you put them on, and they feel like I don't feel like you can get a really nice turnover in them. Right, time for the hood again, I'm afraid. It's starting to really come down a bit now. I'll see you in a minute, bye. Right, hood is on, back we go. So at some point soon I should be getting close to Finsbury Park. I joined this kind of midway at the Crouch End entrance to this, but you can actually run the whole length from Highgate to Finsbury Park, and I think it's about 2.5 miles, so it would be perfect for a park run here and back. Quite flat, but of course you just got to watch your footing because there's so many rocks and stuff. But I'd love to do a park run here. I don't know what you'd wear in the winter. You might go for something like this that I've got on, nice protection, and in the summer you might risk a pair of carbons. Probably not something with exposed plate though. You wouldn't want your Fast-R Nitro Elite 3s hitting some of these rocks with that midfoot plate exposed. I've done that before and it ain't pretty, folks, I can tell you that now. So anyway, here we come. I can kind of see ahead. I think that's the station entrance to Finsbury Park. So let's get that. And let's, when I say station entrance, it's more like the bridge that goes over the train tracks into Finsbury Park. Right, here we are. That's the Parkland Way, folks, and there, through there, you probably can't see it very well, is the train station. Anyway, that's all for now. See you later, bye. Right, so I've arrived at Sunday. I'm going to get my pancakes now and coffee. I'm really cold. I'll see you soon. Bye bye. Actually, no, I'm not. They're actually closed. Right. Now, I just passed a nice looking coffee shop just over here. Let me go and find it. That'll have to do. Right, look at that. Completely iced over. That's mental. See if I can chuck on there. Like a rock. Find me a twig or a rock. Right, here we go. Now look at this. There we go. Completely iced over. Right, so I'm now fast footing my way on this lovely canal side route between King's Cross and Camden. So I'm going to end up in Camden. You see all these lovely barge boats, these amazing buildings that they've got for entertaining and eating. My Strava watch died, so I'm now on my phone, so I have to record this in 2 segments, but all in all I'm guessing I'll have done by the end of this nearly a half marathon, I would think, which is not bad considering I'm not that well, and considering it's freezing cold. It's like -4 or something, as you can see from the water. It's not often that freezes over, right? So it has to be really cold to do that. Okay, back to the shoes. So yeah, definitely I think, I was thinking about this earlier, my best long run shoe, and this probably is it. I mean, as much as I love the USL, it's less stack, less cushion under my forefoot, and so, you know, this has still got, even though it's got an 8mm drop, it's still got like 37mm under my forefoot, which is still huge, right? With the Evo, that is more like 33, 32, 33. So it's quite a big difference. So there's far more cushion for me in this shoe. Even though the foam is firm like the Evo, slightly less dense, I would say. So you get a little bit more forgiveness in this shoe. Not much, but a little bit. And so over a long run, sometimes my feet, they do feel a little bit in this like they would the Evo, but they're more, oh, that's cool, like that. Look at all these new flats they built everywhere. It's amazing, isn't it? Give you a shot more of the ice. It's not very often central London freezes over like this. So anyway, yeah, even though my feet can take a little bit of a beating on a long run with this, it's more than made up for the fact it's such an energetic foam. It's really nice to do marathon pace runs in this. So I've done quite a few 20 milers in this shoe in the lead up to New York, and basically I was running in it all the time until I got the Vomero Premium, and then I ran in that all the time, and I've just come back to the MegaBlast over Christmas, and I thought, right, let's get this up to 300 like the Vomero Premium. I could do a bit of a comparison between the two shoes, well, at least verbally anyway. I think I've already done the comparison video. I think I have anyway. It'd be good to check that actually. But anyway, in terms of wear and tear, pretty similar to be honest. Over the 300 miles, neither of the shoes have really worn much at all. I would say the rubber on the Premium has worn slightly more than the rubber on the MegaBlast, and that just is testament to how durable these shoes are, these MegaBlasts. In terms of the foam and obviously the AirPods, in terms of the Premium, both have lasted really well. I would say there's been absolutely no reduction in energy return whatsoever in the MegaBlast, and maybe a squidgen of a reduction, just a tiny bit, in the Premium. I don't know, it's hard for me to tell whether it's the foam, whether it's the AirPods, or whether it's just I got a bit bored running in them. And you know, when you run in the same shoe all the time, you could start to get negative connotations around it because you get a bit bored with it, basically. And just recently, whenever I put that shoe on, the preview, it's felt a little bit heavier than it did in the past. So perhaps I've just ran in it too much. But both shoes I've worn really well over these 300 miles. So either one would be definitely a consideration, right? If you wanted a shoe that's going to last you a long time. Both are expensive, but both will last you a long time, several hundred miles at least. I think in this case we're looking at SuperBlast territory of over 700 miles, maybe even 800, before you see any real degradation in the foam. So for me, this MegaBlast has been an absolute brilliant purchase. I'd recommend it to any of you looking to buy one of these Super Truck Max cushion trainers. But still frozen, folks. I've been running all the way up here and most parts are frozen. I still wouldn't want a chance walking across it, mind you. But anyway. Yeah, so really is just a really good buy. And like I said earlier, particularly you heavier runners, you know, you more powerful runners, you guys that really put, girls or guys that put force down when you run, you're going to get so much out of this foam, way more than I'm doing. And for you guys, I think this is a better bet than the Outsole. It's definitely a more stable shoe than that one. It's got a widening landing area, it's got a bit more support all round. I've seen some reviews that have said this is an unstable shoe. I mean, I really don't know where they're getting that from. I mean, it's not a stability shoe by any means. It's not unstable. It's one of the most stable shoes. Reminds me of this is dangerously low, that bridge, and I'm not that tall. It reminds me of the SuperBlast in that respect. I always found that to be a really stable shoe. Still frozen, folks. Have another look at that. Oh. The world is in ice age. It's freezing. Absolutely Baltic. So yeah, so I don't honestly have any worries about stability with this shoe. It's unfounded and really not worth worrying about. The only thing really worth worrying about this shoe, ticks every single box. Weight, upper's great, outsole's decent enough. I mean, literally ticks every box apart from one, which is the price. And if you can get over the price, you've got absolute winner on your hands. Absolute winner. Okay, must be getting close now. Yeah, I think I can see Camden Market up ahead. Have a quick look at this area, is pretty cool. Got all the mural there. That's what London's great for, right? All the colour, the urban chic, the colour that people create these amazing graffiti walls. Maybe not quite as spectacular, but pretty good. Right. Oh, the queue's on. I love the queues on cinemas. Marty Supreme, I'm seeing that later. So so no point watching that, is there? Curzon cinemas, they're amazingly nice. They're small, it's like stepping back in time. Don't know if you've got one near you, anyone, but it's really, I really love them. I like that. It's like the way cinema used to be. There used to be an old cinema in Sheffield called the Anvil, which I used to sneak off to every so often, watch matinee films. I watched, what did I watch there that I remember? I watched Glory, about an African American unit in the American Civil War, obviously fought for independence and abolishment of slavery, and yeah, it's a little known tale that there were kind of black regiments fighting in that war of independence. Well, the war against the South, not the independence, not against the British, the war against the South. Get your history right, Ed. Yeah, so Glory's a good one to watch. And what else did I watch? That Field of Dreams. Most people will know that from if you build it, they will come. A bit like if you train it, marathons will be okay. That's a bit of a rubbish analogy, but you get what I mean. Sometimes you have to be proactive in life to make things happen, and that's the kind of theory behind it. Right, we're heading Camden Market now. This is there you can see what I've just run along, like canal. This is Camden Market. For those that have been here before, you'll know, familiar feel to it. So you walk through these amazing kind of buildings and marketplace. There you go, look at this. It's like nowhere on earth, this place. Kids love it. You could spend hours in here, which I'm not gonna. And get pictures. And then you could come down out here into like the more foodie places.
She's still here.
There we go. You can eat in those things there. Going back, yeah, Field of Dreams. Kevin Costner. Regardless of what you think of him, that was some movie, wasn't it? So, some absolutely loved it. I loved it. Other people thought it was a bit cheesy. I remember shedding a tear at the end of that film. I'm not going to spoil it for people, but those who have watched it will know what I mean. It's a bit of a tearjerker at the end, right? But Field of Dreams. So Glory and Field of Dreams, if you've not seen those films, recommend them. But I remember sneaking off on my own, going to the cinema, watching those in the Anvil in Sheffield, which didn't exist anymore, unfortunately. Got closed down. But these little cinemas we should protect. So if you've got a little art house cinema near you, get your arse into it. It needs the revenue. The closest one I've got now is the Phoenix in East Finch. It's quite a famous one. Pertains to be one of the oldest in London, actually. Maureen Lipman, I believe, is a patron there, and it's quite famous in that area. But it's been under threat for closure a few times, that one. So we always try and go to it when we can. Anyway, that's the end of the film review, and that's kind of the end of what I wanted to do today. I've run all the way to Camden, which is a pretty good effort. I may run some more, but I'm not going to film anymore. I'm a bit tired of talking. But to summarise, over the 300 miles, the MegaBlast has been an absolute amazing purchase. I do not regret any of the £210, I think it was, that I spent on it. At the time I did, I thought, you know, do I really need this? and now this is one of the first shoes I look to put on my feet when I'm doing one of my 20-mile long runs at marathon pace or marathon pace plus whatever minutes. This would be one of the shoes that I put on first and foremost. In fact, probably the shoe that I would put on, and then some of the others I would consider. Hoka Mach X2, it's got enough protection to go 20 miles. Super Blast, of course, I've still got a couple of pairs of those on the go. They would obviously be contenders as well. And maybe some super shoes that I've not really used that much for racing, like the New Balance Super Comp Elite version 4, something like that. It's fairly stable. That would be a good long distance shoe as well. But that's all I want to say today. Hopefully you've enjoyed the review. Check out if you enjoyed this run footage, and check out the review, the 300-mile review of the ASICS MegaBlast. And thanks for putting up with my rambling today. Love you all. See you soon. Sing me happy birthday. Or don't. Bye-bye. You couldn't make this up. So I've run all the way to Camden. Having gone to Sunday, my favourite brunch place, shut. Found some other place to have some soup. And then I've got to one of my favourite pubs near the Regent's Park in Camden called the Edinburgh Castle. And that's under refurbishment, just like Sunday. It's my birthday, but it really isn't my day. What could go wrong next? See you later. Bye-bye. Okay, I'm not quite done. Although I might be if this car coming down here knocks me over. What the flipping heck is this car doing? God knows. It's the Royal Park, so I'll let him off. What a beautiful evening, actually. Look at the sky. So I'm now in Regent's Park, having failed miserably again to go to one of my favourite places. So I was trying to get in the Edinburgh Castle for probably a lager shandy. I didn't want anything too strong because I'm on antibiotics at the moment, and failed miserably because it's shut, which is a bit of a theme under refurbishment. The birthday gods are definitely not smiling on me today. I don't know what I've done to offend them. That's two of my favourite places, 2 out of 2 that's shut. Now I'm thinking, do not go to a third favourite place, Ed. Just go somewhere random, out of the blue, and then you'll be alright. But yeah, I'm in Regent's Park. So I've run all the way from Barnet to Regent's Park. This is a frequent running route for one of the channel's fans, Tasty Runner, aka Ricardo, runs through here. I think he lives not far away, and I've seen Ricardo a few times in Battersea Park actually, because I think he runs with a running group there, but also here as well, I think. Anyway, Regent's Park, lovely park for those that know it in London, surrounded by these amazing properties you can see in the distance, but a really nice place to come running. They do running events here as well. I've never actually done one in Richmond Park. I mean, it doesn't strike me as being very flat, although there must be some flat areas which you could do a running, like over there by that football pitch. Around it you could run, but run through, do some Regent Park races. I'll have to try one time. I've done Battersea Park, and I've also done, not through run through, but I've done a Hyde Park. Both of those two are very quick, but Regent's Park I haven't yet raced round, although I've done this route a few times into London. So basically from here, once you get to the bottom of Regent's Park, you go directly down into the centre of London. You end up kind of around Green Park area, which I guess is the aim now, to go somewhere like that, and then into Kensington, and maybe, just maybe, if I've got time, I'll actually do what I was planning to do and go and see one of the exhibitions that is on at the moment before I head back to go and watch Marty Supreme. That's the plan, but as Tyson the boxer said, everyone's got a plan to get punched in the face, and I've been punched in the face a couple of times already today, so I'm not holding myself to this plan. If it happens, it happens, but I do have to get back to Barnet for Marty Supreme, because all my family are waiting for me to watch that. So I'm signing out from Regent's Park. I know I always say that that's it, folks, but I don't know if it is. I'll have to see where I go next, but if it is, have a wonderful day, all of you. It's King's Day from where my dad is from in Argentina, so technically that means Runnable Head's a king, because he was born on King's Day. Any of you with Latin roots, you'll know what I mean. But I think we all knew I was king, right? Put in the comments if you think I'm a king. King Edward. I'm not sure he had a successful reign, did he? Wasn't he one of the child kings that died young? Maybe I shouldn't reference him. Okay, we're at Langham Place, and here's a statue for John Nash, an architect from 1752 to 1835, and this is a kind of church, I think, Church of All Souls, Langham Place. And for those of you that care, it says, "For God so loved the world that he gave his one and only Son, that whoever believed in him shall not perish but have eternal life." Every week over 1,000 people from many nations gather here to worship God together. Whoever you are, wherever you are from, you are welcome. I think we need a bit more of that in the world, don't we? Given the fractious nature of the UK at the moment, quite a few people should be reading that, like Mr. Robinson, for instance. But this is not a political episode, this is a MegaBlast episode, so I'm going to leave it there. Have your own thoughts on that, guys, just my thoughts. There's Keeley in all her glory, in the Nike store, which I was going to go into, but guess what? It's closed, folks. Under refurb. You gotta love it. I'm 3 for 3. What is going on, Ed? What is going on? Not a big fan of him though. I mean, good player, just not my team. Anyway, much prefer Keeley. Okay, last bit of my run. Definitely finishing at Piccadilly. I've had enough of the cold weather. So, I'm making my way down Regent Street, zigzagging more than you do in Battersea Park races, and eventually I'm going to get to where I need to be. Nowhere near as hectic as pre-Christmas, that's for sure, which is a relief. I can actually run down here, albeit quite slowly. But yeah, pre-Christmas this would be impossible. as you might have seen from some of my other videos. So as we get near the end of my run, which is definitely over 21k now, these shoes are showing no signs of dulling. These MegaBlasts, in fact, if anything, they feel as good, if not better, than they did in the first mile. It's a sign of a good foam, folks, and that's certainly what you got here. You've got a really well constructed shoe by ASICS, one which just keeps going and going forever. It's the Energizer bunny of shoes, and yeah, I can't really run out of things to say about it. As you can see, just buy a pair, you won't regret it. And with that, that's definitely it, folks. I'll shut up for a bit, just take in the London sights, and then I'll say goodbye. Okay, it's the end of my first official marathon training run towards the Brighton Marathon. I think that's around 21k in the bag, to check my phone and my watch, which died, and in the MegaBlast. Couldn't think of a better shoe to do it in. I've had a bit of bad luck en route, but that doesn't stop someone like me, does it? Runnable head. I've had a few elements of bad luck over the years. Just bring it on. See you later. Love you all. Bye. So I've actually found somewhere that I wanted to go today that's open. So I'm going to go inside here, and I'm going to go to this limitless Banksy exhibition. Can't wait. See you later. Bye bye.
Girl with balloon, ladies and gentlemen, standing in the back of the room. And I go start getting in 100, 150, 200,000. I have already 200,000, 300,000, 350, 400,000, 400,000. And selling for 860,000. Yeah, if you could maybe get one of your technicians quickly to go to over there, that'd be great.
really is one of the best exhibitions I've ever been to, this Banksy even, I can't even say that word, limitless exhibition. Amazing. So cool. Like a mimic of an underground station in this museum. South Kensington, folks, if you want to come. Really worth your time. He did quite a lot of his graffiti art in the tubes, which is why we've got this underground station that's been built, purposely built in this museum.
Runnable till the lights go low. Rain, sleet or snow, still moving, still flow. From the fall to the rise, yeah, the mouth set me free. This is run, yeah, breathe. Keep running, believe.
Right, let's go through some key stats around the MegaBlast, ASICS MegaBlast. So this is a huge shoe, as you can see, massive, but it doesn't come with a huge weight. This is around 249 grams in my UK size 9.5. That makes it heavier than the Outsole by around about 20 grams or so, but it's lighter than something like the Neo Vista 2, which is up at sort of 270, 280 grams. So it's somewhere in between those two shoes. And just feeling it now, it feels remarkably light given the size of it. And the size of it is because it's got this huge stack of 45 millimeters in the heel. It's got an 8 millimeter drop, giving us 37 in the forefoot. You get a good, nice wedge in the forefoot where I land. So those that don't know me or my channel, I'm about 5'9", 64, 65 kg. I land on the lateral side of my forefoot. I'm more of a bounder than a shuffler. So when I increase my speed, I tend to elongate my stride, although I do also increase my cadence a little bit. So that gives you some perspective of how I'm judging these shoes. But for me, I always look for something, even if it's got a large drop, that's still got a lot of cushioning in the forefoot, and this definitely has.
Runnable till the lights go low. Rain, sleet, or snow.
So it's got a really nice lightweight micro mesh upper. Again, you can see your fingers through it. Just about enough room for my wide feet, although just to be warned, those with fat toes, a bit like me, it's got a very low volume, this shoe, so you do get some toe rubbing. That dissipates over time. For me, it's got less and less, which is great, but that does happen, so just be aware of that. It's got a padded tongue, so you can cinch these really nice laces, these ridge laces, or shark tooth laces, as some people call them. You can cinch them really tight. It's got enough padding in the heel collar and around the counter. It's got a very rigid counter, apart from right at the top where it flexes a little bit around your Achilles. I got good lockdown in the shoe, although I did need to do a runner's loop just to make sure it was completely locked down. I think because of how low volume the shoe is, it automatically like clamps my foot in place. So for those of you who worry about that kind of thing, I think unless you've got really massive high volume feet, I think you're going to be fine. It's just getting used to that initial feeling of being quite constrained in this upper. But it's a really nice upper. It's a 4 out of 5 upper for me. I just mark it half a mark down just because I prefer a tiny bit more volume. For a shoe that you want to go long in, sometimes this shoe sometimes feels like it's constraining my toes and my foot too much.
Runnable till the lights go low. Rain, sleet, or snow.
Outsole wise, you've got a decent amount of rubber coverage, not the most, but a decent amount. And as I said, I land around about here, and you can see the tracks are still there, so it's not wearing away particularly much at all, which is a really good sign. As I said, I'm quite lightweight, so I don't necessarily land with a huge impact in these shoes, but I would expect it to start wearing a little bit away around this tread, wearing away around this area here, which it's not doing. So that's a very good sign. It means to me that this is probably quite a durable shoe in terms of the rubber they use on the grip, and also because of the exposed foam. It might be discolored, but I don't see much indentation or damage there at all. So that's the outsole. For me, it's probably about 4 out of 5 outsole. The grip is pretty good, but not tier 1. Not as good as the Continental rubber in the Outsole. Probably similar, if I'm being honest, to the Neo Vista 2. So it's that tier 2, which is pretty good, but not like Puma grip or Adidas Continental or Light Traction.
Runnable till the lights go low. Rain, sleet, or snow.
Midsole, this FF Turbo Squared is an absolute fantastic midsole. I think it's one of my favorite foams, this aliphatic TPU that they've used here. It's really nice and bouncy. Over the 300 miles, this has retained the amazing properties, this amazing energy return, the amazing feeling of this compression and this quick decompression. It hasn't dissipated that over 300 miles. It's kept its property. You can't say that about too many shoes, to be honest. Maybe the Super Blast, a few of the shoes that retain the properties over a long distance. It's those super foams like the Light Strike Pro that was in the Adidas Pro 3 or in the Prime X Strung. That has the longevity. It almost feels better the more miles you put on it. The same with the Super Blast, the FF Turbo, and the same with this FF Turbo Squared, this aliphatic TPU. It just seems to get better and better. And, you know, I've done 300 miles and literally I can't see any difference in the foam than I did, you know, after 50 miles. So I would say another reason for those that were put off initially by the price tag to maybe reconsider and think about how this actually is probably a very worthwhile shoe, even at that price point, because of its durability, because it retains these properties, and because you've basically got one shoe that can pretty much do everything. You could rate, like I said, you could race in this shoe, and you can't take that for granted. There aren't that many shoes like that out there on the marketplace. It's really nice and bouncy, really propulsive. It doesn't rely on this on a huge rocker. You can see, if you compare it to Outsole, that's got a much more pronounced earlier stage rocker. This feels a lot flatter, but it doesn't matter because the foam compresses very quickly and decompresses even quicker and gives you that nice ping forward. You don't really get so much of a roll forward in this. You get a flatter kind of ping and toe off, which is nice. A lot of people prefer that because it feels a less unstable. Now, I know some people have said this shoe is unstable for them. For me, I find this one of the most stable running shoes out there for, you know, these max stacks daily trainers. It's got a huge base here, and it's also got a really nice flattish ride, which means that when you land, you don't feel like you're on this kind of crazy curve like you do with the Outsole. The Outsole, you feel like you're a bit more control in this shoe. It's got this massive wedge of foam to give you all that cushioning for those long runs. For me, that's what this shoe is good for. Going 20 miles and doing a portion of that run at marathon pace. This is my number one shoe because you can pick up the pace, gives you that really nice cushion, but also that really nice ping forward to keep you flowing along. And you see on my run footage that I did in that run, I wasn't feeling well. I was on need to get to that restaurant, that brunch place in Crouch End, but this kept me ticking along, you know, and I didn't feel so bad running in this shoe, which is a good thing. So that's a midsole.
Runnable till the lights go low. Rain, sleet, or snow.
So stability wise, as I've already said, I think this is quite a stable shoe. The large base, it's got quite a nice structured upper in places, not much in the way of sidewalls, to be honest, but I don't think it needs it. Got a little bit of sole flare, as you can see there. Well, quite a bit actually, to give you that wide landing base. The heel is quite wide as well, not as wide as the Rad that we saw the other day, but pretty wide. So all in all, I think this is a fairly stable shoe, and I think for most of you, apart from those with real stability needs, I think this is going to be more than stable enough for all your running needs.
Runnable till the lights go low. Rain, sleet, or snow.
Durability, as I've already said, I think this is a very durable shoe. I can see this being similar to the Super Blast, which mine's up at 800 miles and still going. It's worn a little bit away back here, my Super Blast, but I think this is going to be something similar. So for those of you, and we'll talk about value in a minute, for those of you worried about the cost of this shoe, remember how long this shoe is going to last. And let's talk about value now. £210. ASICS shoes rarely get reduced, which is a bit annoying. You look for bargains from time to time. You rarely get them with ASICS shoes, and particularly Super Blast, Mega Blast, etc. This one is £210. What I would say is you can get some sportshoes.com. You can normally get a 15% discount on that. And also the fact that this is going to last, you know, twice as long as a lot of other daily trainers. I think it's almost, you know, I wouldn't say a bargain, but it's almost easy to stomach that £210 just because of how durable this shoe is.
Runnable till the lights go low. Rain, sleet, or snow.
Speed, this is on the quicker side for a daily trainer. You can really pick up the pace in this shoe. I know people who've raced in this shoe and they absolutely love it. Those, you know, I don't mean this in a condescending way, but recreational runners, those that don't run fast enough really to utilize the carbon plates when they run, and I mean that in a nice way, those that don't feel they're necessary. And I tell you, sometimes, even though sometimes I can run reasonably quick, there are some times where I don't want to run in a carbon plate either, because it affects the way I land, it affects my Achilles, and this would be one of the shoes that I would put on my feet if I was feeling in that kind of mood. The first shoe that I would put on my feet, though, is the Outsole, which I think is a quicker shoe than the MegaBlast, but not by loads, but it is a quicker shoe just because of its aggressive geometry, this firmer, very responsive foam, this Light Strike Pro that's in there from the same Light Strike Pro that's in the Adidas Pro 4, if you were wondering. But the MegaBlast definitely quicker than the Neo Vista 2. It's a lot more responsive, very quick compression, decompression, nicer, more powerful bounce in this shoe. This has got a nice bounce, but it's more of a sink-in bounce. This is more of a like land and bounce you forward quickly. So it's a little bit more aggressive, this shoe. So in terms of speed, I would put them in this order, with the MegaBlast being in the middle. So if I was going to pick a shoe to race in with no plate, although this technically got a shank plate here, I'd pick the Outsole, but a very close second would be the MegaBlast. So definitely faster than things like the Nova Blast. I think faster as well than the Super Blast. So this is a viable racing option for your park runs or for your 10Ks, or even if you want to go marathon in this shoe. This would keep you nice and supported and cushioned along those 26.2 miles. So that's speed.
Runnable till the lights go low. Rain, sleet, or snow.
What's it good for? Like I've just said, those long runs, those runs where you want to go at marathon pace for large sections of the runs, something where you want to pick up the pace, and something that you want to not necessarily go for like recovery runs in this shoe, but something where you want to go up tempo. You could do a recovery run in this shoe, but I would say again, the Near Vista 2 is a better shoe than this one, the MegaBlast, for doing those. It's also, you could also race in this shoe, and that's why how versatile it is. And I think for those of you who don't want to race in a carbon plated shoe, that don't want to have that weirdly irregular bounce that you sometimes get from those shoes, I think this is a good option, folks. I think it's a very capable racing shoe. I know lots of people who do park runs in this, and they get really good times. So there's nothing to be frowned upon about a non-plated shoe for racing, that's for sure.
Runnable till the lights go low. Rain, sleet, or snow.
Well, it's been absolutely amazing. It's kept its colour reasonably well. It's a bit mucky. I do clean these ones, all my white shoes I tend to clean a little bit more, but it's kept its colour. The actual upper is worn a lot better than the Outsole. As you can see, that's wearing out, tips near my toes. This one, there's no sign of it wearing through at all. As I've said, the base is really good. The outsole, there's very little wear at all in the forefoot, which is really good. I'm actually quite amazed at how well that's wearing, actually. I do, like I said, I do tend to wear things out here. I use this for a lot of my long marathon runs. I remember doing 2 21Ks on a Saturday and a Sunday, back to back in this shoe, and it was absolutely fantastic. You can just throw miles at it, and it just, it always feels, when I put this on, it always feels energetic. This shoe makes me want to go a little bit faster, which I think is a good sign of a really well designed, well crafted and a shoe with an amazing foam and setup. I think this, for me, it came third in my shoe of the year. Could even easily have been first. It wasn't for the fact that it was the year of the Outsole and also the Puma Fastar Nitro Elite 3. This would have been top. Absolutely amazing shoe, and it's it's proved very durable over the miles. So love you all. See you soon, and do the quiz that's coming next. Guess the film, folks. Bye bye.
Stand in the shadow of a question asked too loud. I want the truth, echoes through the crowd. A voice like thunder, cutting right through. You can't handle the truth, ringing raw and true. Lines in the sand, red marks in the cold. Every order carried every secret load. Did you order the code red? Hearts beat fast, faces turning red. Did you order the code red? You're damn right I did. That's what you said. In the Navy, we have a name for you ladies. You are called civilians. Watching from the sidelines, safe and clean. Never seeing what the orders mean. We live in a world that has walls cold and strong, and those walls have to be guarded by men with guns. Did you order the code red? Truth and duty in a single thread. Did you order the code red? You're damn right I did. No tears left unshed. It doesn't matter what I believe, it only matters what I can prove. Facts like stones, they cut, they bruise. In this courtroom, rhythm, win or lose. I have neither the time nor the inclination to explain myself to a man who...
Whoa.